Once again, good people, we are at another episode of It Is What It Is, here live on WPIMP Radio. And tonight's topic is, are aliens real? What are your thoughts? Go ahead and jump in this chat room right quick. You know what I'm saying? And if you want to do something live for us, live on the air, you can go ahead and, send a couple of likes and a couple of stars as you hear our shows and whatnot going on. Go ahead and hit that like button, share it, hit that like button, share it, and hit that like button again. Now, we've been getting into it here live because it's been a lot of speculation, a lot of things going on about are aliens real or are they not. But let me start off the conversation with this. For those out there that are the people that say they're not, something's going on, because why all of a sudden is the government starting to admit to certain shit? I think it's kind of a conspiracy theory of some shit going on now. I myself don't believe in all conspiracy theories, but at the same time, I do not believe that the government is batting 1,000. I don't think so. I don't think they're telling you all truth. As we know, the powers that be will lie in a goddamn heartbeat. Let's just be real. But for you that don't know, as of late, like if you're looking at the saved pic, if you will, that's on the show, that is actually a picture of an Air Force pilot that has taken pictures of UFO that they could not track, that was way faster than anything that man could make. And this has made it to the national news. Now, I know some people are going, they still don't have no proof. But anytime the government suddenly has started to release information about things that they could not track, because I'm going to tell you now, a lot of the stuff that they're admitting to now was, released on the Privacy Act, that they released things that the government already knew about that they didn't tell us. Do you really think they released everything? Or they just released some stuff that they couldn't tell you about, and now they feel like they kind of have to tell you about? Now, the question to me, Smoke, is why now? Why all of a sudden are they admitting to stuff and showing you actual release film on national news of things that look a little suspicious, that they cannot really say what it is? And just so people out there that, if you're thinking a conspiracy theory, it's a lot for a government to admit something is flying in the air that they don't know what it is and they can't catch. Right. Now,
militarily, that's
exactly. That is the ultimate
compromising shit to say.
Exactly. That is the ultimate of admission. That, say, for example, if they wanted to,
we can't help your ass.
Exactly.
If they want to do some shit, that's your ass.
That's what I'm getting at. I say because that's the admission. Because it's to the point that I honestly feel like something has happened and they don't have but a choice to admit it. Now, I don't want to send out no alarming flares up in there to people, but that ain't no good sign. That's all I'm saying. I'm like, that's not a good sign. If they got to admit it, that means something has already happened and they're already trying to get themselves out of it, where they could be like, hey, we did tell y'all though. You know what I'm saying? We told everybody. You can't say we held it when something go terribly wrong. Because here's the problem with admitting something like that. Okay. Let's say, for example, it is an enemy, or it was an enemy here, like Russia, South Korea, anybody. There's somebody that's not an ally that has the capability of doing what these machines of flying capabilities they can do that they're reporting. Basically, they're telling you, we couldn't stop them from doing the goddamn thing. If they really wanted to do some warlike shit, we couldn't do shit about it because we can't even catch them. Because you have to think about it. For something to come in the United States flying space, and they didn't detect it right away, much less can catch it, that means that they can just as easily drop a bomb on some shit, and you still can't catch them or do nothing about it, as they wish and as they please. Now, do you want to say that is something unearthbound? Because let me do a little clarification. UFO does not mean that it's outer space aliens coming in and doing it. But at the same time, if they knew for definite that it was something earthly, they would say that. They would warn, like, say for instance, Russia, somebody, they would warn against Russia and say, hey, Russia has invaded our airspace, blah, 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 whatever the hell. They would say that, but they're not saying that. So this is my belief, Smoke. You tell me what you think about it. I honestly feel like the fact that you ain't sound all the bells and the alarms of, think about it. If Russia invaded our airspace, it would stay on the news 24/7 all the fucking time. Especially if you can't do nothing about it. The fact that they're not making that big of a deal of it make me feel like y'all been doing that shit for years. You know?
Oh, hell yeah.
You've been doing it for years, but it make me feel like they're doing something now that you don't want them to do. You know what I mean? Like y'all don't agree on something, some kind of way or something, so you kind of have to tell it. Because now they're doing something out of key. But what you think, Smoke?
Well, first and foremost, you're talking about I've known that shit for years. How about since the beginning of what we know as recorded history?
Yeah, I feel like that too.
Bruh. Alright, when you, man, I got so much shit I want to say. I need to get me a pen and pad here, man.
Get it out, bro, because I got some shit like that too now.
Bro. I got some
fuck
questions for you, man. Whenever you think about aliens or any kind of out of the box kind of thinking, right?
Mm-hmm.
You gotta take into consideration your listeners' knowledge, experience, perspective, hell, intuition.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much more to this world, to existence, than what we know. Mm-hmm. And when you think about what little we do know, a motherfucker gave that shit to us, and they ain't too much care for us none, you know what I'm saying? Bro, lately I've been thinking about this, what is it? Weird 9/10 of a man or some shit like that.
Yeah.
Man, it might be something deeper to it. You know, they might have put the truth dead in our fucking face. You know what I'm saying? Nigga, we ain't like regular motherfucking men. You know, they trying to think we fucking animals and shit, but what it is something else.
Something else entirely.
You know, entirely, you know what I mean? Especially when you start thinking about how dominant motherfuckers are in everything that we fucking get into.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, that's on some way out kind of thinking, man. But back to your question, your original question, why I think they would admit to some shit like that is same reason for a lot of shit nowadays, man. Everybody and their mama got a goddamn camera. Yep. You know what I'm talking about? And I don't give a fuck how good y'all suppression shit. Ain't no fucking way. You know what I'm saying? At least not at this point of our technology can we just blanket some shit like that. Now you can just wave niggas off as, oh, that shit crazy. Nigga did some CGI shit on his computer, you know. But when you got tons of motherfuckers seeing shit, you know, it's a little more difficult to fucking hide, man.
Yeah, I could get deeper in it, man. You know, I do a lot of reading, and I'm one of them OCD people that I need to know why and how something works. Right? Okay. Yeah, I don't want to get into religion too deep, but for example, it is a scientific fact that there were more than one type of human. So the evolution thing kind of throws it out the window. That there was Neanderthals, and there was more than one type of human, but the older humans died off. So from what I could tell, there is no explanation for the modern human and where we came from, and how did we evolve into being the way that we are. And then what happened to Neanderthals? Like every time you turn around, they're making some new kind of discovery. They finding out there are civilizations that's older than Egypt now. There's civilizations that they were, even with Egypt, they were off. They thought Egypt was 2,000 to 3,000, 4,000 years ago, but now they're thinking it's more like 8. And the oldest civilization they found so far predates Egypt. So that kind of threw everything out the window. And then they've also found and discovered that there were like, giants, actual giants. And there was like maybe like 3 different type of humans before there was Homo sapiens. But they were the older ones and they were here before we were. Now, so that brings on the question to me of how all of a sudden did Homo sapiens appear then? How all of a sudden did we just come out of nowhere? Now, you get in religion and say, Adam and Eve and God and all that. But still, if that's the case, that would mean that Adam and Eve was actually like the Neanderthals, because they're like the older thing that was closer to us. But then you also have to try to explain what happened in a gene pool that would make us different. Suddenly we're just so damn different than what we were. Then they also, I'm going through science now, I'm not even talking about speculation. This is actual proven thing. Something happened in our DNA that suddenly made us different that nobody can explain yet. Like you said earlier, what you can't explain. So something happened, thousands of years ago that our DNA suddenly became different that nobody can explain. Now, here's where I am right now. Did something actually happen that made our DNA like somebody fucked with it? Or did we just appear because we came from somewhere fucking else? You see what I'm saying? Because to me, it sounds like if there was somebody already here and they predated us, don't that sound like we just came from somewhere else and stayed? I'm just saying, it's because otherwise nobody can say or figure out what is the explanation. How did we drastically change while they were already here? It was also the belief at one point that when the dinosaurs was roaming the earth, that there were no humans. But now they have found stuff to prove that wrong. Things that like, if I ain't mistaken, like tools, hammers, things like that predate or was around the time when the dinosaurs were around at the same time. That's just as old as the dinosaurs that only a human or somebody with thumbs and a hand could even use. So, here's where I'm at this point. To me, that sounds no different than, like, let's say, for example, right now today, all of a sudden aliens land. And we know they're aliens and we see them all the time. We get used to them, whatever. They're here, they're living among us, right? Okay. Let's say something happens to us, right? Now, if aliens living amongst us and they're pretty close to being like we are, but it's just little differences, at some point, somebody gonna lay with one of them son of bitches. And the only reason I say that is because right now today and through history, men been laying with cows, dogs, horses, every fucking thing. You know what I'm saying? So at some point, somebody gonna fuck an alien. You know what I'm saying? And they gonna have some offspring. Now, the genealogy, the DNA then is changed. You have now produced a new something to the world, right? That's completely different. It ain't completely different. It's like half and half. Now, if that happens, and just say, something happens, or war, which they don't prove that too. It been different things like nuclear explosions happen in ancient time that they can't describe, but the remnants of it would only happen with something nuclear. And they even see evidence of that on different planets now that they can see. They got the telescope to see that far. That it looks like something happened as far as like an explosion, things like that. Who knows? But my point is, let's say something happens here to the Earth. An asteroid hit it. Who fucking knows? But whatever happened, it kills off a lot of people, kills our technology and all that shit like that, right? Stuff that we have now. And we end up going back to living like, off the land, right? Over time, anybody knows that if you tell a story, that story gonna change over time. And it's just gonna get told in different ways. Somebody gonna add something, subtract something. Whatever it is, it's not gonna be the original way to tell it.
Right.
So eventually,
if not lost altogether.
Yeah, if not lost altogether. Eventually, it's gonna get to a point that it'll get to a point that the knowledge of the aliens landing in the first place, and we know them and all this shit, is gonna get fucked up. It's gonna get confused and just told in many different ways that you don't really know what the truth is. Okay. So now, you have a different race. Like over time, that race may survive longer for many different reasons. They may they may just actually live longer than an actual normal human, like we were with the Neanderthals, or their immune system is way stronger, where they can survive in better conditions or different conditions or whatever the fuck, whatever it is. The old human race dies off, so eventually the newer part that combined with the alien has taken over the world. And don't get me wrong, this might be 4,000 years worth, but they are the ones that actually are here now. Like later on, 4,000 years down the line. So the people that's living 4,000 years into the future is not going to know that, hey, it was some people came from another world, blah, 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 whatever the fuck. So here's my what I'm shooting at. Because that can happen. 4,000 years now. We don't know what happened 4,000 years ago now. Right? Not totally. Like, they steady finding stuff. Now they're going, they find something called a Baghdad battery. Come to find out that in Egyptian time, they could have possibly had lights. Like actual lights stuff ran off a battery. That they could have had it lit and had the technology to have lights instead of like thinking they walk around with torches. That's a proven fact. I'm not speculating. So if we can't figure out what happened 4,000 years ago, who's to say somebody gonna figure out what happened 4,000 years from now? So relative to say what I just explained happened sounds like a doable thing, and it could be why they're admitting it. You know what I'm saying? Because the aliens are probably like, at this point, hey man, we figured to let people know we here. Goddamn it, we tired of this bullshit. You know what I'm saying? For all we know, you know what I'm saying? Which could have happened 7,000 years ago the same way, or 10,000 years ago, or 100,000 years ago, the same fucking way. So if they can't explain how there's 3 different type of humans at one point and now there's only us, will be the same way we couldn't explain it later. So it's not that far-fetched to believe that it could have already happened like I just explained. You get what I'm saying? We don't just know that. There's no way to know that because we don't have the ability to move out anymore. All right. To take the example of what I'm saying even further. All right. They're talking about populating Mars again, right? Well, I say it again, but populate Mars. Sending people to Mars and all that.
They already goddamn alien. He done told them the goddamn self.
Look,
on live TV. Y'all heard it.
Look, I'm just telling the truth, man, because
goddamn aliens.
When you put it down, it don't sound that far fetched when you put all the evidence together. Like they already said that at some point Mars had an atmosphere and you can breathe and all that. And I'm gonna get into that later. But for right now, what I'm saying is stuff that don't sound or look right. Okay. Who's to say what I'm getting at is that we're not the aliens in the first place? You see what I'm saying? Like for whatever reason, like say for instance, like how the exact way we're doing now, they're talking about going to Mars to populate Mars, right? Like say they go to Mars, right? And they populate Mars and people move there and all that shit. They fly there because it ain't gonna be no comeback trip. You going, you there, right? Now, who's to say that over time something stupid don't happen to the Earth while all these people are populating Mars? I'm talking way down the line. Let's say 3,000-4,000 years from now, 2,000 years from now, they on Mars. It's people staying there. It's whole cities. It's all this bullshit. Now, let's say suddenly something happens to the Earth. Everything dies, like it did with the dinosaurs, probably know. You see what I'm saying? Who's to say the people on Mars over time or something happens on Mars that they lose the knowledge of saying we used to live on Earth?
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Which would be the same thing that could have happened to us in reverse. So, because all the proof of everything that we know kind of pushes toward it could have already happened that way. And we came from somewhere else and we ended up here and just could not get back. Just like they saying they finna go to Mars. All the people that's going to Mars, they're supposed to be going to populate Mars. Like, this is not far-fetched or way in the future. This is going to be happening in the next 6 years. That people are actually going to go to Mars and stay there to pioneer it and populate or whatever. Who's to say they don't lose the knowledge that we came from here way down the line? Right? Which the same thing would happen again. You don't know you came from another planet. You just know that there are aliens in another place. But Earth keeps moving forward. And Earth keep having, technology and everything. Now, y'all go to Mars, something happens, some kind of way, you lose the knowledge of doing it. And then all of a sudden now, when we get back to going to Mars 4,000 years down the line, we're aliens for the people from Mars. They'll say we're aliens. Because they be like, what the fuck is that in the sky? Because they lost the ability to do all that. You see what I'm saying? And the ability to know how, the storytelling, all that. Then not to mention, this is one thing I get into now, all the stories over time can turn into something mythical for people that don't understand it because they never seen it. Think about it. Now you got to think about what I'm saying. We talking 15 generations down the line. You lose the knowledge, all of a sudden you start seeing stuff. Y'all gonna say, whatever, that's God, that's an angel, that's you see what I'm saying? Because you don't know no way to describe it, so you only describe it in some kind of mythical way. They're flying horses, goddamn it, or whatever's on your planet.
I wanna elaborate on that point when you finish.
But that's my point. Why is it so far fetched to believe that that same thing already happened? Because I can see that happening. Something could go wrong on Mars. We can't go to Mars and save them. You see what I'm saying? Something could go wrong, and now they're stranded for generations. So with each generation, they're going to lose the knowledge that they learned from here. How to make a ship to get back, how to make oxygen to breathe, how to whatever. They're going to lose the knowledge. So they're going to start switching to what they teach. They're going to start teaching how to survive instead of all this knowledge from Earth. Because all this knowledge from Earth ain't finna help you because you don't have the material. You see what I'm saying? So 15 generations down the line, all they know is how to survive here. And all the other stories that they heard over time is going to start sound like myths, like these people crazy, ain't no such thing as a god that can fly with fire coming out and all this crazy stuff. It's really all I'm saying. It's not that far-fetched. It's not something that's just so out of bounds that it just can't be believable. Is what I'm saying. But go ahead and say what you was going to say, because that's all I was trying to, the only point I was trying to make.
Well, I kind of want to help my people out in the back, you know what I'm saying? Just imagine, you know, because when you really, I don't think many people understand, like, the vastness of space existence. I'm talking about all that is. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can't even wrap our mind around how fucking big that is, but especially when you're talking about people who ain't never left their block, their city, state, you know what I'm saying? You know, like, imagine if I was an ant. You know, an ant. Mm-hmm. How could somebody explain to me that you are not God?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
With all the seemingly fucking magical shit you can do, there's, you know, I couldn't even comprehend if somebody was trying to tell me you ain't God. But from your perspective, you are ordinary guy in your world. That shit don't stop with us. You know what I'm saying? That shit do not stop with us. It can't. You know, it just that's pretty fucking arrogant to think so. Now, so far as there being motherfuckers here, you know, if they out there, I don't see why they wouldn't be here, especially with the shit that is here. Like, we're talking about ancient ruins and shit that's perfectly aligned with fucking stars. You know, it's like they telling you, yes, nigga, this is where we from. You know what I'm saying? Like, look this way. You know what I'm saying? We lining shit up. Or maybe it's to keep this motherfucker steering in the right. Hell, maybe this is goddamn big ass spaceship. Hell, I don't know. You know, ain't no telling, but the way shit be lining up with the stars and shit, man, and the way we traveling through space, you know, it's a mind fuck, man. But just you know, there are places on this earth. Hell, I done been there. You think about when you in the middle of the fucking ocean, man. There ain't nothing out there but fucking water sky, and your ass. You know what I mean? That's all you see. That's all the fuck that's out there. Water, sky, and your ass. But you know, as far as you can see in every damn direction. And that is a tiny fraction of the space that's just on this fucking planet. Not to mention the solar system, the universe, and all this whole other shit, man. We don't even know what's in the fucking water. Or maybe some of us know what's in the water. Hell, if the aliens want to hide, shit, that's all they gotta do is be in the damn ocean.
Yeah.
Shit, most of the damn planet is covered by ocean. Yeah. Ain't nobody going down there. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And we can't go but so far.
Yep.
But what about this, man? You know, I don't know, man. I don't know, man. I don't want to get too crazy on this motherfucking podcast. I ain't just shared that shit with everybody. But fuck it, I'm gonna do it tonight. Bruh, did I ever tell you I was touched, man?
Touched how?
I was touched.
What do you mean? Explain.
All right. I would love to say I was touched by God. Okay? Mm-hmm. You hear me? I would love to say that.
Yeah.
But the me in me is like, nigga. Your ass ain't, your ass ain't fucking special, nigga. Like, who the fuck is you? For God to say, all right, nigga, yeah, let me just put my hand on you. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
All right. So with that said, I can't say what touched me, all right?
Yeah.
But I'm gonna tell you what happened when I got touched, okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right. I was at my lowest point in life thus far. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Or at least the lowest point thus far. Needless to say, it got lower. But anyway, at that point, I was pretty fucking low. Okay? Mm-hmm. And I'm talking about feeling fucking sorry for myself and really just hopeless and desperate and just, I was down bad. And I was in the bed one night, face down, just laid out. Mm-hmm. And I was praying. And I was praying so long, I really wasn't praying no more. I was talking, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, when I say so long, I'm talking about for hours, however long I was awake. You know what I'm saying? I was begging. Mm-hmm. And we talking about in the middle of the night, man. You know what I'm talking about? In my bedroom, mm-hmm. with the lights off. Mm-hmm. And the door closed. Like, I don't sleep with the door open, you know, like that. Mm-hmm. And anyway, in the midst of all this, out of nowhere, I feel a hand on my shoulder. Mm-hmm. Now, when I say I was fucking terrified, it's an understatement. However, it's like the instant that I registered terror, that shit was gone, and I was comforted. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like, you know, I'm in the fucking bed, man. You know, I'm in the drawers, I'm laying out, you know, I'm begging, I'm praying. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Ain't nobody in here but me. But before I could, you know, it's like before I could get scared, I was comforted. Uh-huh. And yeah, from that point, you know, I always knew God was real, but you know, can't nobody tell me God ain't real. I've had several instances to prove it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
some cases I feel like I might be a bit of a burden, but any damn way, I don't want to come across like, the next day I was changed, and I could see things and no. It was just a normal day. It was just been the same as it was before. But something happened. You know what I'm saying? That's all I can say. That's all I can say. You know what I'm saying? And, perhaps it's more than just, of being down bad and all that shit. Maybe that's what motivated me to get to that state of mind. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
And that deep of concentration on beyond myself. You know what I'm saying? And through that, I got acknowledgement that, hey, there's more to this motherfucker than you know, nigga. Okay?
Yeah.
I get another instance. I'll make it quick. I said it before, but I'm in Connecticut. Last day there, I'm getting my medical records so I can get the fuck out of this place. Ain't nothing but white folks. Ain't a lot of brown folks. I'm talking about no kind of color. There's a lot of white folks. Mm-hmm. Okay? I'm getting my records. There's a black guy 2 people ahead of me. He gets his shit on his way out. He sees my name tag on my shirt. He said, I want to talk to you when you get outside. All right. I'm thinking maybe he know my folks or some shit. Mm-hmm. I go outside. This nigga start running down my life. He ends the sentence with, you ain't gonna believe this, but I'm your uncle. I ain't know this nigga even existed. Mm-hmm. The minute he told me that, I could instantly see my dad in his face. Mm-hmm. He was on his way to the post office, had no intentions on coming by there, but he was like, fuck it, I'm over this way, let me go ahead and go. He been connected with the family ever since. But what are the chances of 2 black men who are uncle and nephew coming, and he was in the submarine service.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That's why he was coming on the base to get his records.
Huh.
And I didn't know he existed. My kinfolk been looking for me for 5 years. I ran into his ass at the store 3 days ago. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, damn.
All kind of shit, man. There's more to this planet than we know, man. And I know you done had visions of some shit. Or you think about somebody and you end up seeing their ass. You ain't thought about a motherfucking forever.
Yeah. Now I'm gonna tell you this. Like I said, bro, I read a lot. Now I'm not one of them people that I'ma just make up something either. You know what I'm saying? So everything I say, feel free to Google it and find out if I'm telling the truth.
Right, examine that shit for yourself.
You know what I'm saying? So, because I just read a lot. I read anything, and I don't have a certain subject that I stick to either. So I just read a lot of shit. And the funny thing is, space don't really just fascinate me like that, but knowledge does. So every time I hear something, I'm gonna kind of, go through it a little bit, see if there's any truth to it. All right, for example, I'm trying to remember the Indian tribe. I should have looked it up, but I can't remember. But y'all feel free to look it up. I want to say they call the Hopi. There's an Indian tribe that has said that they originated from space, right? Remember, flashback to what I said before about, over time it's going to just turn into stories. But they've been saying since their existence, before there ever was a United States of America, that they are from space. Not only did they say they're from space, they know the specific place where they're from and can describe where it is in space, right? Because they handed it down, they kept good notes and handed it down for generation. Okay. Even before there was a telescope to find any of this information out, they basically have all these hieroglyphics and they study their religion and say that this is where they're from. Now, of course, come to find out, years later in the last probably 60, 70 years or so, that the place that they describe that exists can't be seen by human eyes or a normal telescope. It can only be seen by the most powerful telescopes we have today. But exactly where they say it was is where it is. Exactly the way that they said it, with the stars and the moons that surround it and everything. Described it to a T that they've been saying for the last damn near 3,000 years of shit. They know exactly where it is and everything. They say that's where they're from. Now, I'm going to tell you this. 45,000 suspicious things has happened that don't look right. And I'm not a, you know what I'm saying? I'm not a conspiracy theory person once again. Number one, there was a race to get to the moon, right? And everybody knows that. That's common knowledge back in Kennedy Day. There was a race to get to the moon. America supposedly made it first. Problem I have with number one, the number one thing, the astronauts that made it to the moon first were sworn to secrecy. And they even have tape saying that they see something, lights in the distance, they don't know what it is, things like that. Okay. My first problem with that's something I say don't look right, don't feel right, because most of the time your first jerk reaction is the real reaction that you should have. Why would they be sworn to secrecy exactly? For just going to the moon about anything that they saw, seen, or reported. Why would that be a secret? You're not telling the Russians like you built the rocket a certain way, or you know this much chemical is made, chemical mix to do this, and the way we did it. Just the tapes are saying this is what we saw when we got there. To this day, that is locked up in secrecy. Look it up. Look it up. They cannot tell nobody without basically saying treasonous to what they actually saw when they got up there. Why would that be a secret of what you saw? Don't you think that's a little weird? All right, let's go for it. How is it? Does anybody know there has not been a man to step a foot on the moon since? Nobody think that's a little weird? The 60s now. Nobody has went back and actually put a foot on the moon. Don't that sound like you either saw something you shouldn't have seen or witnessed something you shouldn't have seen? And you don't want to tell the world because of mass panic. Like, also in the Privacy Act, let me say this point. Also in the Privacy Act, look this up when they released the Privacy Act. They have a game plan guidebook that says that if something was discovered, to not tell the world basically, because they're scared it will start mass hysteria, and it will start like a basic riots and stuff in the street based on religion. And then I thought that was weird also. Why would they say that based on religion? Because, you know, if you read the articles on it, this could be said, you can Google it right now, you can find this out. These are government works. This is government paperwork. It says that it will make people question God, basically, because it would say that like the whole Adam and Eve story, and we're the only ones, and we're the center of the universe, whatever. So they would not tell the world, even if they did find something, basically. So I'm like, okay, that's a little weird. But also, let's go further. Now, anybody that pays attention to anything, do you remember the first trip they made to Mars where they actually sent pictures back to the Earth, right? Was when Obama was president. That was the first one where they actually could take pictures. Like, it could stay there extended amount of time and move around and do stuff, right? Now, I'm going to remind y'all of something. This is when Obama was president, right? Which has been about at least, 6-7 years ago now, right? Nobody paid attention or asked a question that when it made it and they were sending pictures back, it made the national news, it was on everything. And they kept saying they was going to send us more pictures. They only showed those pictures the first day. The first day it landed. Now, mind you, the damn thing is still up there moving around doing shit. We ain't seen another goddamn picture. Nobody paid attention to it. I'm like, that sounds weird. I'm like, you said you're going to show us more pictures of all this different stuff that it was discovering. You only showed it for one day, and then the whole subject got dropped. Now, to me, once again, that sounds like you playing by that fucking playbook. It makes me feel like you saw something that you don't want to tell us. And if you don't believe me, go YouTube it. Look at this stuff. They show all this interesting stuff, and it was supposed to go discover something they thought was a man-made, well, not a man-made, but something that they didn't know what it was. They couldn't tell if it was like a mountain.
It didn't look like a natural structure.
Yeah, if it wasn't a natural structure. Next thing you know, you ain't seen or heard shit else. Nothing. Then it's also not a coincidence that all of a sudden billionaires are starting to talk about they're going to go pioneer it, basically. Send people there to start colleges. Why would they do that? Why would they do that? If they didn't think it was some kind of way that we were going to live there anyway, or somebody knows something that they're not letting us know. So my problem with it is this. I'm going to say it one more time. They steady sending stuff up there, and it's still there right now. Why we can't see any more pictures? You don't think that's a little weird? Also, why did it not go back to the moon? Anybody knows that you can look up these pictures that they... Now, I'm going to remind y'all, a lot of this stuff is not modern. A lot of stuff got released because of the Privacy Act thing got released. So that's another thing. Why all of a sudden, just because there's an act, you're releasing these top secret files of stuff they can't... ships that they can see now, and the Air Force and tried to chase the ship. It couldn't catch it. And I'm reminding y'all of something else too, right quick. Other countries been released this stuff. They got whole like FBI type organizations that track it. America had one too at one point. If none of this is real, why form an organization to track it? One. Two, the United States is the only place that wasn't admitting it in the first place. Spain and all these other places been admitting it for years. Been seeing stuff, had organizations track it going, they don't know what this is. They don't think it's earthly. They always try to avoid saying stuff like that. But I'm like, dude, if you got something that can fly around at the speed that a human being, and it can stop and go at any moment that a human being would never be able to actually withstand the G-forces of being able to be in it. It ain't but one or two ways they can play. Either it's a drone, but it still means somebody created something that is far beyond what we can do here, or there's an actual being or something in it that's not made like us, or they have the technology to let a being be in it. And because then it's like whatever concept you come up with in your brain, it has to be something so far ahead of what we can do. Because how else do they know the ship is around it, to mess with the ship, to move away from it? How they know to steer it, to get away from it? All this is technology we don't have, right? So here's my problem with all of it. In every instance, when you get to a point that you can explore an area that we're not familiar with, right? And they can actually go there. They get the technology to go there. They'll give us a little information, a couple of pictures or something, but suddenly it's blank. There's nothing else. You see what I'm saying? Then here's the ultimate. If you can send something to Mars to investigate it, why we skip over the moon? Moon right here. We just fuck the moon, right? Let's go all the way to this one, because that will sound suspicious. I feel like it's something on the moon that you don't want us to know. Because wouldn't it be way easier to explore this whole dark side of the moon that we don't know shit about? How you skip clear to Mars? You see what I'm saying? That's what's throwing me off. Because I'm like, that don't sound right. That's almost like... And then, mind you now, there's been discoveries on the moon clear back with just, scopes. Clear back to like the 70s and the 80s. Of people saying that, like, scientists saying it looks like some stuff on the moon is man-made structures. Smoke is coming out from the moon, like, only thing they could think of, they say it don't look like space dust, because how can space dust survive, in zero gravity and it's so cold? The only thing that would make smoke in space would be heat, because it's so cold. You can't explain none of that stuff, but yet you're not trying to go get an explanation for it either. You're trying to go clear to Mars. Like, it's like, I almost feel like this is where I'm at right now. Seriously. I almost feel like they found something on the moon that makes it look like at some point we may have came from somewhere else. So now they're trying to go to the other place to be able to see more or to find out more. So they already know something from the moon. They're just not telling us, is what I'm getting at. You see what I'm saying? Because how you just skipped over the moon and you haven't even explored it yet? They didn't go but to one area and left and never went back again? I don't believe that. I don't believe that. It just sounds fishy. You know what I'm saying? It don't sound quite right.
Ain't no fucking way.
Yeah, it don't sound right. That means you have the capability. If you can go to Mars, that means you have the capability to completely go through the moon, go to a crater, something to explore the moon now, even without a live person going there. Just stuff that can move around, but yet you didn't do it. You don't think that's weird?
Bro.
That's weird.
Bro.
I'm just saying, that's weird.
You think about what we know of history, man. You know how fucking shit, nigga, in our fucking lifetime, nigga, when no microwaves in this motherfucker when we was born, that shit got invented while we was there. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's motherfuckers with cell phones. You know how fucking far we've come since my daddy was born. You know what I'm saying? He's 90 something, but
Yeah.
you know what I mean? This shit, there's no, and then you look at the pyramids and everybody wanna, I'm telling you, man, I ain't never been there. But I know a nigga that been there. And he say when he looked on the goddamn walls, them was some niggas on that motherfucker.
Yeah.
Now, you can say what the fuck you want. They had a lot of knowledge about outer fucking space. And when you think, honey, you know, it's just my thoughts on the shit, man, but from what I've seen and heard and whatever. But when you think about it, just imagine this conversation, man, you know. Like right now, hell, on the way back from picking up the kids, hell, I seen 2 meteors, you know what I'm talking about? One of them motherfuckers was pretty goddamn big and pretty close.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we traveling through that shit, like, right now. And I think we do it every year, like, the end of October, November, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But imagine a conversation like, all right, you know, well, every so often, some shit come through this motherfucker and kind of tear this motherfucker up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, you know, we gonna leave these niggas here, but, well, we can't leave this shit on no paper, man. Put this shit on them goddamn bricks, you know what I mean? And make that shit tough. Make that shit to last, you know what I mean? Well, hell, there ain't no paper, man, you know. How motherfuckers look. Put some pictures on that fucking shit, man. Carve that shit in the wall. And we're just gonna leave this shit here, man. You know, goddamn, you know what I mean? Eventually they'll figure this shit out.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Now imagine the first motherfucker to get to it or to see this shit, man. You know people hoarded that shit, man. It ain't just gold, man. It's knowledge, man. You know, and you think about eras where motherfuckers purposely went out burning fucking books and evidence and shit.
Yeah. We didn't talk about that.
It's
sure
more
right.
to this life than we know, man. I got a question for your ass, though.
What's that?
What you think about prison?
What do you mean?
Follow me now. When a motherfucker get like 750 years,
Uh-huh.
what if they actually had to do them motherfuckers?
Uh-huh.
No, I'm asking.
What do you mean? Look, well, they ain't gonna live long enough.
Because it sounds fucking insane, right? It's like,
Yeah.
there's no fucking way this man's gonna do 750 years, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but what if he has to do 750 years? And they know this.
Yeah.
Like, maybe this shit don't end here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Maybe after you do your study and they fry your ass, you got another 720 to go.
Yeah.
Or maybe consider this. DNA, this shit just like building blocks, right? You got the fucking, if you got the instructions, you can make whatever the fuck you want.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at these pictures of like fucking men with fucking bird heads and this shit just looks crazy to us, but who's to say this motherfucker didn't exist or don't exist or do exist? You know? Or fucking, man, what if when you die, you know, you transition to another form and you are capable of doing some supernatural shit, let's just say, right? And another otherworldly type shit. Mm-hmm. Who would you want to have control of some shit like that? Somebody who is in control of their mind and positive, and you know what I'm saying? Would you wanna welcome that motherfucker to have that kind of, you know what I'm saying, that kind of power? Mm-hmm. Or would you want some crazy motherfucker, you know what I mean? If you got the transition, you know what I'm saying, and you ain't right, you know, you want some shit, it would make sense to have a place to put that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I get what you're saying. Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Man, bruh, it's just, damn, I don't know, man. There's a lot to this thing we call life, man. It's a beautiful thing, though. But bottom line, do I think it's aliens? Hell yeah, you call them what you want. It's more to this motherfucker than we know, man.
Or that we gotta understand. But
yeah.
Look, on that note, we're going to take a commercial break right quick. Hey, y'all go ahead and I see a couple of people jumped in that chat room. Y'all go ahead and get in the chat room and like and share that thing. And we're going to be right back with our final thought after these messages on It Is What It Is.
Bust it, pop it, lock it. Drop it. We going up like the stock it. Outside and inside the Lambo is chocolate. Throw it, watch it, cake it, profit. Benz getting big, it might bust out of pockets. She keep it wet, I might bust down a locket. BBL, natural, don't care. If you coming with gang, leave your phone at the hotel. She know my body, she don't need the intel. On time, spin around, go crazy. Ayo, Jack wanna know what I inhale. She get it thick, ain't no way that you can't tell. I need to put shawty on payroll. She got a bankroll. She do that shit when I say so. Hit from the back, got her grabbing her ankles. Hand on her neck, I might give her a Van Gogh. And when I'm done, I go out with a bang. She say me and my brothers remind her of bang bros. She in the mid tryna work on her angles. She gon' lick on it, spit on it, taste just like pew, pew. Gucci Wally, she be wildin' inside her body. She gon' ride it like Kawasaki. She said she was lit off the sake. She left the lobby parking lot, gave me head in the Gotti. She said she gon' give me the box and the posse. Fucked around, introduced her to Roddy. Thing on my hip for when she looking wacky. I might have to bust it, just look at that body like damn. Bust it, bust it, bust it, bust it. Is you fuck it? 2 shots, fuck it. Bust it, bust it, bust it. Bust it, is you fuck it? 2 shots, fuck it. Throw it like a stripper, damn. Throw it like a stripper, ayy. Throw it like a stripper, damn. Turn around and tip her, ayy. Bust it, bust it, bust it, bust it. Is you fuck it? 2 shots, fuck it. Whistling white with a body on me. Goddamn, I'm popping, I'm hot. Real thick bands in the motherfucker pants. He was staying from a stand, so I took him to the spot. I don't wanna talk, I wanna be in your mouth. Say that nigga get out, he ain't packing with a Glock. Begging for a dance, he ain't even get a chance. Throw it back and let it land, ain't no begging me to stop. Bitch, ate the pussy up on Tuesday. Back in the side, yeah, 2 ways. Give me that top like 2 pay. Slurping on the pussy like Kool-Aid. 1 don't be enough, I need 2 bays. Nigga down my throat like do say. Lick all on the tip like Bruce Lay. Nigga, I'ma do whatever you say. Now watch me, bust it, bust it, bust it, bust it. Is you fuck it? 2 shots, fuck it. Bust it, bust it, bust it, bust it. Is you fuck it? 2 shots, fuck it. Throw it like a stripper, damn. Throw it like a stripper, ayy. Throw it like a stripper, damn. Turn around and tip her, ayy. Bust it, bust it, bust it, bust it. Is you fuck it? 2 shots, fuck it.
Your style, your smile, your peace mentality. Lord, have mercy on me. I was blind, now I can see what a king's supposed to be. Baby, I feel free. Come on and go with me. Let's take a long walk around the park after dark. Find a spot for us to spark conversation, verbal elation, stimulation. Share our situation, temptation, education, relaxation, elevation. Maybe we could talk about Surah 31:18. Your background, it ain't squeaky clean shit. Sometimes we all got to swim upstream. You ain't no saint, we all a sinner. But you put your good foot down and make your soul the winner. I respect that. Man, you're so fat. And you're all that. Plus supreme. Then you're humble. Man, I'm numb, yo, with feeling. I can feel everything that you bring. Let's take a long walk around the park after dark. Find a spot for us to spark conversation, verbal elation, stimulation. Share our situation, temptation, education, relaxation, elevation. Maybe we could talk about Revelations 3:17. Or maybe we could see a movie, or maybe we could see a play on Saturday. Or maybe we could roll a tree and feel the breeze and listen to a symphony. Or maybe chill and just be. Or maybe we could take a cruise and listen to the roots. Or maybe eat some passion fruit. Or maybe fly to the blues. Or maybe we could just be silent.
Now tell me who wanna fuck with us. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. I bang and let your fucking brains hang. Snitches, fuck Marley for bitches with riches who carry 22s up in they hosiery. A black telling when my father bustin' and loaded me. Think he just finished sniffing the key and dipping the D's. Don't hate me, hate Nicky Barnes for hitting my mom's letting the condom pop. Nigga, I was born in the drop. Coke boiling the pot. Shake the feds and bust shots at them street cops. Fuck your point is. My point is double fours at your fucking jaws pointed. Hollow point shit, 4.6. Need I say more, or do you get the point, bitch? Come on. What type of nigga slinging bang in the streets? Bad boy. What type of nigga stay in the trunk for weeks? Bad boy. What type of nigga fly Bentley cool? Bad boy. Aim for the sky, cop the shit, then shoot. Niggas dragging on the floor. Banging on your horse, second the cry scientists examining for flaws. Pour the crystal on the way to trial. Rico Law got a nigga head hurting, squirting till they pull the curtain. Let the money drip dry. $100 bills wipe the tears from my eyes. No love, fuck y'all niggas. Hope you die slow, death as I cold test and see the Loris Tucker protest. Can't fuck with you weak rap niggas, with your gay raps. Running around talking this and talking that. See me in the streets, try to give me that. Andrew Cunanan ass niggas, my 2 cannons blast niggas, ass niggas. Got me fucked up in the game. Get your shirt stained, keep your 5 mics, nigga, give me the cane. Do the shit to clean my money, dummies. Gleam the wrist out, cock the pistol, nigga, talk shit now, What type of nigga slinging bang in the streets? Bad boy. What type of nigga stay in the trunk for weeks? Bad boy. What type of nigga fly Bentley cool? Bad boy. Aim for the sky, cop the shit, then shoot. Bling bling. It's a bad boy thing, bullet seats seeking, street sweeping with an evil grin. Watch you die, one love, one life, one shine. Y'all niggas ain't saying nothing like a mime. Every line, I live it, I write it with a pencil, so niggas die lead poison if they bite it. Hate it but recite it, it's a G thing. Me and Puffin St. Bart send it off. Bitches walking topless with G-strings. Menage, bust shots at your crew, another charge. As the Gulf Stream fly through the fog, make you popular. Pockets filled with more high notes than the opera. Franklin's on top of the Jacksons. My nigga Ty, leave you tied. Bad boy, respected to die, coward. What type of nigga slinging bang in the streets? Bad boy. What type of nigga stay in the trunk for weeks? Bad boy. What type of nigga fly Bentley cool? Bad boy. Aim for the sky, cop the shit, then shoot. What type of nigga slinging bang in the streets? Bad boy. What type of nigga stay in the trunk for weeks? Bad boy. What type of nigga fly Bentley cool? Bad boy. Aim for the sky, cop the shit, then shoot.
Man, a bad boy in the corner, so move from on ya, cause we are dangerous. Man, a bad boy in the corner, so move from on ya, cause we are dangerous. Whoa, whoa, see, shiddly waddly diddly daddly, shiddly daddly widdly diddly diddly, whoa, see.
Hand on my Bible. Yeah. Hand on my gun. Praying to my gun, it be my Bible. Me and 2 bitches in the shower. 2 sauced up on these hoes, I'm going viral. Jack boy, I sell his ass a brick of flour. Hand on my gun, hand on my Bible. Hand on my gun, hand on my Bible. Hand on my gun, hand on my Bible. Praying to my gun, it be my Bible. I'm a dope boy, never fold, never told. Grand on overload, in the kitchen with the stove. Baking soda, pot and bowl. Swear to God, I kill a nigga then repent. I'm a millionaire and I grind for every cent. Plug came, that's a blessing. For these hoes, I ain't stressing. Never leave the house with no weapon. Make sure the money right, no discrepancies. Grandma, young nigga had a £quarter, but he stayed down front row with the Super Bowl. Team strong, we campaign, pop champagne, won a Super Bowl. I can change the flow up. I can take that work inside the kitchen, make it blow up. You want a sack, I make it show up. Don't make me break that lamb out just to pick your hoe up, little nigga. Praying to my gun, it be my Bible. Me and 2 bitches in the shower. 2 sauced up on these hoes, I'm going viral. Jack boy, I sell his ass a brick of flour. Hand on my gun, hand on my Bible. Hand on my gun, hand on my Bible. Hand on my gun, hand on my Bible. Praying to my gun, it be my Bible. Hand on my gun, hand on my Bible. Just hit a lick for 500,000. Just cop the whip for 500,000. That loud in 500 pounds of a breach. Dope boy, I got money in the power. Breach. My job pay 100 grand an hour. Breach. My hoe want me to fuck her in the shower. Breach. My hoe want me to fuck her for an hour. Breach. Look, money nigga, we ain't never accept that. Big chopper in the beef, you know we dealt with that. These watches like trophies, these niggas like vultures, these bitches like roaches. We good with that. Praying to my gun, it be my Bible. Me and two bitches in the shower. Too sauced up on these hoes, I'm going viral. Jack boy, I sell his ass a brick of flour. Hand on my gun, hand on my Bible. Hand on my gun, hand on my Bible. Hand on my gun, hand on my Bible. Praying to my gun, it be my Bible.
Church, hand on my gun, hand on my Bible. Fingers on the trigger like vagina. The Bible open right there on the dresser. I just pray that all my enemies are watching me from heaven. Now I'm peeking around the corner before I turn that motherfucker. I play them corners like I'm Richard Sherman, motherfucker. I play in my position on these niggas' first intent. Treating that prescription like a scripture, amen. Now we in the kitchen with the chickens in our hand. Lord, please forgive us, but we sinning for the rent. I just popped 2 pills, I feel them bitches kicking in. 0 to 100, got a ticket in the bench. Show me where the Bible say thou shalt not fall. I just hit a lick for 1,000 Adderalls. I just wrote a blunt up in a page from the Bible. And all my niggas psycho, and all my bitches spiteful. John 3:16.
Praying to my gun, it be my Bible. Me and 2 bitches in the shower. Too sauced up on these hoes, I'm going viral. Jack boy, I sell his ass a brick of flour. Hand on my gun, hand on my Bible. Hand on my gun, hand on my Bible. Hand on my gun, hand on my Bible. Praying to my gun, it be my Bible.
Hand on my Bible. Hand on my Bible. Hand on my gun, hand on my Bible. That be my Bible.
All right, we're back on It Is What It Is, and we're still on the subject of Are There Aliens? And it is now time for the final thought. Let me go and get my final thought, because we talked about a lot of stuff out there. We might have to do a part 2. But, because there's a lot of biblical stuff we didn't even talk about. Like points in the Bible where it's been, well, basically proven about some of the stuff that was described in the Bible sounds like in kind of just the way of the description. But we'll get more into that probably in part 2. But my final thought is I believe so, because in this vast universe, the universe is ridiculous. They don't know where it begins and where it ends. So how can you say in your tiny bubble that nothing exists outside of your bubble is insane? that's just insane. That just makes no sense. That's like saying there's no different than at some point wherever the first man originated, to them, that was their world. They was the center of the universe. I'm sure the Egyptians thought that probably. They were the center of the universe. That's to think that nothing, at some point, people thought nothing existed outside of the landmass they were on. You know what I'm saying? Like, say, America. At some point, people probably thought nothing existed outside of England. Nothing before people started exploring the world, is what I'm getting at. So until they explored and found out that, there was land here in America, there was land in England, there was land past Africa, there was land in all these different places where everybody lived now, all they knew before they started sailing across some seas and whatnot, all they knew was only existence was where you were. Right? That's the same concept people are living with if you think that it's only life on this planet. When you think about it in that concept, it's really freaking ridiculous. Because at some point, on land here on Earth, people thought that nothing existed outside of here. So my thing is, they found at this point, I've lost count. I think it's 12 different other Earths. Like, that it can actually sustain life. It actually has oxygen that's breathable. They found multiple ones at this point. So who's to say what is on their planet, or did we come from their planet, or are we the explorers? Are we the ones that went out and pioneered, and that's we are so far away from our planet now, we done completely lost the knowledge of being there or doing whatnot. Like right now, half of the people listening to this program have flung history. I'm just being real, because you don't know it. Like, you can ask people right now, when was America discovered? They have no fucking idea. So who's to say? You know what I'm saying? That's recent history. So who's to say you know history from years and years and years and years ago? Knowledge will be lost over time. And Smoke spoke about it while we was off the air that I was going to hit on it, but it's time to end the show. there has been knowledge that has been purposely held back and destroyed by people's religious belief that knowledge wasn't the real knowledge. Who's to say that, like, it's a fact that in, if I'm not mistaken, I want to say Afghanistan, I think, where was supposed to be like the world's library, that during the Christian Crusades, they destroyed it. They burnt everything that had all this vast knowledge of how to do different things. Who's to say that didn't happen at another time, just by somebody that didn't agree with whatever they were doing? You see what I'm saying? So that knowledge we'll never get back. They said that wasn't even the first open heart surgery that we think is not even the first open heart surgery. Who's to say that a lot of knowledge didn't get burned in all these wars where people burning stuff, they're looting and things like that, burning their books? Who's to say a lot of this stuff hasn't been rediscovered? Because, like I said, we didn't even get on the subject of goddamn, time I got ready to say his name. They had discovered a whole bunch of technology and all his shit came up missing.
Tesla.
Yeah, Tesla. We didn't even get on the subject of that. That it's proven that he has far advanced knowledge of a lot of stuff dealing with electricity that we can't even use to this day. They still rediscovering stuff that he did back then. So who's to say what was happening 4,000 years ago? He could have just rediscovered something that had happened 7,000 years ago and just figured out how it works now. There's stuff on this planet right now that we don't understand how it works. Like, it's just like they're finding life, like say in the ocean right now, or life on the planet right now that they thought was extinct, right? They thought it was gone, like prehistoric life that they thought was extinct and gone, but it's still here. You see what I'm saying? So if you discover stuff still on your planet that you don't know, and just like Smoke said earlier, it's things in the ocean that we don't even know is there. Stuff they thought was extinct there that they still making discoveries in the ocean. So if you don't know everything about your own goddamn planet, is what I'm getting at. How can you possibly say what's on another one? When you think about it, that concept, that sounds insane. You don't know your own planet. So how can you say ain't nothing else on this other one over here? It's just a little crazy when you think about it. But are aliens real? My final thought is yes. In the sense of there are other life forms on another planet that we absolutely know nothing about. Now, when I say life forms, when people hear aliens, they always think about us. Like there's another us. No, not necessarily. There could be another life form that could communicate, because that's what make you intelligent. There's an intelligent life form. They can communicate, they can build things, they can move around, they can talk to each other just like we do. They just might not look like us. There's no way in the world is only on this planet as vast as the universe is. That's just crazy to even think, because what made life be here? Why was this one planet picked as the one place the life could be? That's insane to even think something stupid like that. That's just like, I honestly believe in my heart that they found life on Mars. Not necessarily a person walking around, but like an animal or some type of plant, something that is a living thing. And I don't give a fuck if it's roaches. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a life form.
Right.
So I feel that's why they won't send us pictures, because it'll scare half of these people to death if they see something they don't know what it is. And especially if it's on another planet, because it just opens up the window about a whole bunch of other stuff. Because just like, shit, look how you motherfuckers acted over Trump. I'm just saying. Imagine if you find out there's a whole nother life somewhere else. You know what I mean? If you acted a fool over somebody just saying something here, you know what I mean, in disagreement here, y'all can't even agree on Roe versus Wade, goddammit. You damn sure not gonna agree on there's another life form, and y'all don't want to let Mexicans into the country, much less. That's what I'm getting at. I honestly feel like that's why they won't let us know everything, because how people just act on stuff that's happening on this planet. Could you imagine bringing in a whole nother being, and you some bitches acting fool warring with each other right here? The first thing that would happen is somebody gonna say something bad to make up some shit and ready to go to war with somebody that probably can wipe us out in 2 seconds. I'm just saying. I can see that happening, and I honestly feel like it's stuff like that for the closed-minded is the reason they don't want to reveal it to us. But that's my final thought.
Man, I don't even really know how to have a final thought, man. 'Cause I'm thinking all kind of shit, man.
I told you it's gonna have to be a part 2. It's gonna have to be. It's gonna have to be a part 2.
Crazy. I tell you what, though, with all the efforts motherfuckers going through to convince us that we ain't shit. I've always found it odd how everybody want to be us.
Yep.
And I don't think it's a conscious thing, you know what I mean? I think it's something that's deeper. It's a soul kind of thing, you know. They ain't saying white folks ain't got no soul, so y'all don't come at me with that shit. But they say that we are the original man. Maybe this go around. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I would hate to be a fucking racist and come to find out that God is a black man. You know what I'm saying? I would fucking hate that shit. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I can just imagine, you know. Hold on now. Before you go to hell, I just want to introduce myself.
Look, that's a thought too, Smoke. You right. That's a thought now. Look, that may be the secret that they found out, but go ahead. That's why we can't see the aliens, because they all black. It's like Wakanda for real, goddammit. Yeah, they'll never let us find this shit out. Woo! Lord have mercy.
And they say Jesus will return, you know what I mean? Or the Lord will return, or God will return, or whatever. Mm-hmm. You know? You know, I think they mean that literally. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Well, so my final thought is, I think we should, I think that you should take a level of comfort in knowing that God is real, if you believe. Mm-hmm. And life is a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful place, and we are all capable of bringing an immense amount of pleasure, joy, positivity, creativeness, and community. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. As torn and divided as the world appears at times, we didn't make it to this point in history by not working with each other. So, you know, without getting too sappy, you know, we need to love and help one another out, and you know, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Ride this thing out until it's over with, and who knows? Mm-hmm. You may have more in store, you know what I'm saying? I personally think there is. And that's fine. That's fine. I'm going to just give one more testimony. I'm going to tell you now, anytime you can pass out drunk on one side of an island, take the highway and wake up on the other side of the island. You and the nigga riding with you, both of y'all sleep. You can't tell me it ain't no God, nigga. Shit.
That's Jesus taking the wheel.
Shit.
That's Jesus taking the wheel.
That is literally Jesus taking the wheel, nigga. I'm talking about for real.
Woo, Lord have mercy. Yeah, I beat that dog. Yeah.
Bruh. Go on, give him one testimony before you let him out of that can.
Oh, you know, I think everybody know that I know Jesus is real and God is real. Ain't no doubt in my mind. Most definitely, there's been too many incidents and too many times and stuff I can't even explain. ain't no doubt in that. I think everybody knows that.
Okay.
Everybody know that. It's amazing that I'm even still here past the 90s.
What?
That's my whole testimony. I live in the 90s. Shit.
We said enough stand. I lived through the 90s, nigga.
Times was so bad back then, boy. I had all me and a couple of my partners had already accepted we were gonna be dead by 25 and just said it is what it is, goddamn it. Just the fact I lived through that foolishness. It's an amazing feat. There can't be nothing but God. But look, we're going to have to do a part 2 of this. Y'all will have to come back and listen to some more of this later. Because I actually do got a lot of stuff I could have said because I read a lot. Like I said, I got a lot of books. I got a lot of interesting things y'all could have read too. I hate to give people that promo, but I do got a lot, like a whole lot. Because I'm just like, I was telling somebody the other day, man, I even read books on like, is there a God? You know what I'm saying? So, and they explain in both ways, scientifically why they can prove there's a God, and also, you know, just not using the Bible at all, just scientifically why they can prove that there is a God. Like you could go back to what I said about they proved that we have a splice in our DNA, human beings do. So who knows who put that there? That could be something from God. There's no miraculous. Nobody can explain what changed or what made us change. It could have been the birth of God felt like making a change and made it different. You know, who knows? But my point is, it's too many things of concepts of things that they can't explain. So, you know, I get what some people say, non-believers. You try to say everything is God when it could have been something scientific. I understand your plight and your argument, but at the end of the day, this is exactly what the book says. No matter what you come up with, something had to have a beginning. And if you think the world was full of nothingness and all of a sudden there was a huge explosion that made everything something, because that's usually what people go back to, the Big Bang Theory. Who's not say that was the energy of God that created the entire universe? You can't, because either person can't explain is or not. You can't for definite say there is not one. So it's like anything else. You can't say it for definite unless he walks up or not. You know what I'm saying? And say this just me here. Or you know what I'm saying? You can't say for definite until you can explain the entire vast universe. You cannot say it's not. So that's my explanation. All right, we have reached the end of yet another show, and we invite y'all to keep listening, and we will probably be coming back with a part 2 of this because this can go on for hours and hours. But behind that, I see y'all had jumped in the chat room, continue that conversation and discussion because we might bring up some of what y'all said in the chat room here. So,
listen, and if you've been abducted, it's a safe space. I want you to feel free to call us in on the next show. We might have to do this pretty soon. Yeah.
Hey, I'll let y'all. I would, you know what? And we're gonna do it with a straight face. Ain't gonna be no jokes, and ain't gonna be no. You know, if you've been actually abducted, you come up with a good real story. Type it for me first, though, so I can make sure we ain't get no collars with foolishness. But if you come up with a real story,
I'm gonna ask you to fuck around with your booty now. I'm gonna ask you.
See, then ain't nobody gonna call because they gonna think you cracking jokes on. If you come up with a real credible story, I promise I ain't gonna crack no jokes or nothing. We're gonna listen to you with an attentive ear, and I'm not gonna try to disprove what you said happened either. I'll let you. Matter of fact, if you want to pre-record it and send it in, we'll just play it live on the air where it won't be no, because I can't promise what Mike can do. I swear to God. But but you know, matter of fact, that might need to be what it be. It need to just be pre-recorded and we just play it. Because I'm not gonna make fun of nothing that you said or nothing like that. I'm not gonna do that. Because you know it's real for you, whatever happened, and it might be credible. I don't know. Like I said, I'm never gonna be the one to profess that I know every damn thing. I'm not gonna do that. So go ahead and matter of fact, y'all can go ahead and put it in the chat room because you can actually voice record in the chat room too if y'all didn't know that, by the way. But and if you don't, go ahead and give us a call, 601-502-4298, and I promise you I'll put it on the air. I will put it on the air. Matter of fact, even if somebody don't call, I may need to find somebody and we'll just play it live on the air and talk about it.
All right.
I can hear 70 jokes get told though, but I'm just saying. But I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. But for y'all out there, we do appreciate y'all listening. We tell y'all to keep on listening and make sure you tune in and sharing like that thing and sharing like that thing. And last time I checked, we was up to 95,000 listeners. Let's get that thing to 100. But we'll see y'all next time on It Is What It Is.
Yep.
Real hot girl shit. DA got that dope.
That ain't the the baby, that's my baby.
Her friends and her mom hate me. Go. Lay down on the bed, do the cry, baby. She ain't gave me none that puss in a while. She had the boy waiting, I don't mind waiting. Come here. Oh, you ain't gonna respond to my text? Oh, yeah. Want me keep on my diamonds and sex? What's your name? Keisha. Key. Jasmine. Jazz. Kiera. Megan. Go. Lisa. Ashley. Sierra. Sarah. She got her hands on her knees with her ass in the air. Who that little bitch a player? If her friends ain't around to record it, she been over, shake that little ass in the mirror. Like, I am. What a nigga gotta do for your number? Shorty came through with that hair so good, I said, fuck it, I ain't using no rubber. Way she make that ass bounce, think I love her. Got that ass in that mouth from her mother. Type to make you bae mad, you in trouble. NBA playoffs, that ass, it's a bubble. Like, come on, throw that ass back.
That ain't the baby, that's my baby.
Her friends and her mom hate me. Go. Lay down on the bed, do the cry, baby. Go. She ain't gave me none that puss in a while. She had the boy waiting, I don't mind waiting.